Hello, hello. Casey here. Just as for a podcast, I just figured I would go live. Normally, I turn the Zoom on and just start talking. I just had an event in AZ. I'll probably do a different podcast to go over that and the whole experience because I was so charged and nervous about the speaking event. So I'll have to do like what helped me through that, some tips and tricks, how it went, and all that shit. But today, we're going to talk about the Golden Girls, the trauma of the Golden Girls. And if you have any questions, just pop them in because I think it'll be fun to kind of have a podcast with some live interaction. I was not supposed to be successful. Hey there, Casey Ship here, fitness model, hormone expert, and a master energy healer. I help goal-oriented women clear out the reason why nothing has worked and finally step into their purpose and get everything they've ever wanted. So who's watched, I know you've probably seen the Golden Girls. I'm standing up showing you my shirt. It says Girl Talk and it has all the girls on it, man. Blanche, Betty, and Dorothy and Sophia, and a lot of you, if you follow me for a while, I used to watch that shit all the time. I grew up watching it. It's very like comforting. And those of you that don't even know what it is, it's a show that came on Lifetime, I think. And it's these four, is it four? 1, 2, 3, 4 little old women. And I mean, Betty White was in it. And they lived in Miami. They retired. Some of their husbands died and, all this stuff. And they lived together in this house in Miami. And, the show is about them going through their shit. But it's pretty funny. One's like a hoe. One's just a prude, rude, miserable lady. The little old lady, she's Sicilian. And she don't give a fuck. And she's kind of like the wise one who just says what she thinks. And then the other one's kind of like a ditz, but she's very wise at the same time. And she's from a place called St. Olaf in Minnesota, I think. And she always speaks in like German and she makes up all this bullshit stories. And anyway, it's an awesome show. It ran for a long time, very successful show, and it's still running. Well, I watched it. In this past year, really, and we do the trauma-informed approach. We have a trauma-informed approach to fitness and health. And apparently it's getting known that what we do is more about the mindset, emotional, and the soul work and stuff like that. Thank God, because women that come in and think that, like we had one lady come in and says, oh, I've handled all my stuff. I've handled like all my ADHD. I've gone to therapy. I've done all that. I just can't get past, I've had fucked up relationships. We broke up all these times. And her energy was just like, chaos, 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 can't lose weight and all this. So I'm like, oh, and you've gotten everything under control with therapy, right? There's just so much missing right now. People think that therapy helps. Like therapy should be like the fucking minimum. Therapy should be taught like in school, and it's not. And then you graduate to soul work. Okay. Soul work. That's what we do. That's the trauma informed, the whole body, the holistic approach, regulating your nervous system, because most of us were in survival mode, and therapy just, it just stops at a certain point. It's very, it's same with medical field, Western medicine, they leave a lot out. It's not integrative. It's not taking the whole person in. So anyway, I watched this show, and when I watch it, I get ideas for content, and it just teaches me a lot about where people are at. And right now, you probably have your favorite Golden Girl, right? You probably have your favorite. Somebody asked me, I think Crystal on my team was like, who's your favorite? I'm like, hell, I guess it would have to be Sophia, because she is wiser and she doesn't give a fuck, so, and she likes to have fun. So I probably would go with Sophia. Now, I wanted to break down, hopefully you enjoy this. Would you like to know what I think and my conclusions about each of their traumas? Because it actually got painful to watch. I had to kind of stop watching it. I'll watch it now, but it didn't get painful to watch. I'll still watch it. It's just, I can see things so clearly, and where it connects with the audience. I'm like, God damn, like, can they not see that this is coming from that? And I don't think people can see that. So here I am. Okay. You will be emotionally intelligent when you leave this conversation. That's my intention. So here we go. So, okay, we've got Blanche. All right. She's the host. She's this one. Blanche, she's the hoe. And I shouldn't say that, because it's not a bad thing, right? A sexual woman, we're all sexual. Most women think they have no libido, and really it's circumstantial. I'm like, tell me right now, if your ass met a guy on a flight, in the grocery store, at the gym, and he's hot as fuck, and he wants you, would you fuck him? And how many times would you fuck him if you wouldn't get in trouble? Like, would that be fun for you or what? Most of them would be like, yeah, they'd get Liddy in the slitty. Do you know what I'm saying? So, baby, you have a sex drive. It's just circumstantial. There's some stuff going on right now that makes you not want to have sex. And so that's actually what we help with as well in Hot Moms. So anyway, so I don't say hoe like it's a bad thing. I think a sexual woman's fucking great, man. Like, Yanni rules, okay? It's very powerful to own that. And the reason women don't own it is because of shame. from religious shame, from their mommy shame. Like there's so much stuff. But when really, if we weren't taught any of this stuff and weren't programmed right or wrong, we would probably be having a lot more sex than we do. You know what I'm saying? You'd actually, yeah, we'd be having a lot more fun. So anyway, Blanche she slept around with everybody. Matter of fact, they made fun of her all throughout the show of, you know, how many people she slept with. They shamed her throughout the show. And see, this is normal. Like in the show, they laugh, like the way that Dorothy, she's the tall, she needs to have sex because she needs some dick. Dorothy needs some dick, you know, but she's kind of like this very cynical, smart ass, passive aggressive type of woman. She's got it deep down when she pulls out her heart stuff. It's there. But ultimately, she definitely, you know, she gaslights, she shames, she guilts, all this stuff. And they shame Blanche a lot. And in the show, they make it funny. But that's the problem with with everybody right now is people think that this is like funny. And it's like, yeah, you just shamed her for like sleeping around because she doesn't know how to handle grief. You know what I'm saying? Which everybody's like, well, Casey, that's too sensitive. I understand what you're saying, but I also want to educate everybody else because why not? If you could be smarter and more intelligent, why wouldn't you be? Because don't you want to be really fucking happy and get what you want? Absolutely. So Blanche was loose. And in the show, she lost her husband, like her one and only love. And she says this in one of the episodes. So she lost her one and only love. And she said it. She goes, since he died, she's been trying to look for the love in any man she thought she would find it in just men, right? She was just chasing the feeling of love and connection. And she was trying to find it in sex, right? And you know, getting sexy and all that stuff. And she had an episode where she just said that. She broke it down. And that's exactly what it is. Have you ever noticed how you wanted to shop when you get sad? Or fuck when you get sad? Some people don't even know. They're just like, well, you just fuck 3 times a day. I'm like, yeah, it's also probably something you're not, you know. Make sure you're fully feeling all of your stuff. And that way we're not trying to fuck it away, you know, scroll it away, spend it away, work it away. You know, it's hard. It's really hard. And I have an addictive personality and an obsessive personality. Like I'm the one that can teach this shit because I know the energy very well. So she handles grief by fucking, right? She's trying to fill the void like a lot of women do with alcohol, with drama, with food. They don't know how to feel. So they're trying to find the feeling outside themselves. And hers was just through a man. So that was hers. And number 2, we've got Dorothy. So Dorothy, okay, she was married. Okay, so let me back up. Dorothy, I know a lot of you that's following the stories, like, I know the story. So Dorothy apparently was the way they tell the story was like not pretty growing up. She was one of the like smart, she was very intelligent girls in school, but she wasn't the popular sexy girl. And even her mom kind of makes fun of her for that. And I think she got turned down at the prom. Something happened, like lots of trauma here that a lot of us go through in school. We don't feel like we're the chosen one. We don't feel like we're the pretty one that other girls get the guys kind of thing. So she carried that in and she prides herself in being very intelligent. And so a lot of people feel like that, like because they're intelligent, because they went through that in school, they look at people that are pretty and hot and whatever, and they think they're better than them deep down because of their trauma in fucking school, right? And the whole time it was just trauma that never got dealt with, right? So anyway, that was her. And then the first guy I think that showed her some attention was this guy named Stan. He turns out in the TV show to be like this douchebag that is kind of like a loser, but ends up having money. And he's just kind of like not a deadbeat dad, but just kind of, they portray him as one of those guys that wounded women attract in their life that can't provide. They're not a good father and they cheat. So wounded women attract these types of men. I know. I used to be one. So when you hear all this, you don't need to point fingers or shoot negative darts at me. I'm telling the truth. My truth is how I see it. It could be different for you, but everything can be shifted and changed if you don't like how your life is. You just got to clear out some of your shadow shit, some of your closet shit, some of your dark shit, and then get what it is the fuck you want. The reason we don't have what we want is because we don't think we can have it. It's just old programming and stories. So that's Stan. Okay. So apparently she gets with Stan in high school, or she gets drunk. She does something where he's that one guy that's giving her some attention. So she fucks him and gets pregnant that night or that day and ends up getting married to him because remember, shame is in the thing. Right? When you get pregnant by somebody, there's so much shame. So you need to marry them, says the Bible. That's where she went wrong. Okay. So she gets married to him, devotes her whole life for her one kid and to be a wife. He ends up cheating on her. Right. That's her story. so he cheats on her, and then their whole fucking rest of her life, she's this wounded, scorned woman who hates men and prides herself on being the most intelligent and blah, 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 blah. And meanwhile, the whole time, she's really just a very insecure young girl at heart, starving for love. Right. And even in some of the movie parts, she gets chronic fatigue where she's going to doctors and they can't tell her what's wrong. And really that she's got chronic fatigue, because when you grow up thinking that you're not enough and all this stuff that happens, and her mom, Sophia, is kind of abusive to her. She's very emotionally and verbally abusive to her as well. Makes fun of her height, makes fun of how she looks. And, she ends up, doing what we all do. We don't feel like we're enough. So we try to, work the most and be the most and have the best body and do the most so that we can prove that we're enough. And our bodies are like, fuck you. I'm going to give you adrenal fatigue, thyroid issues, IBS, colitis, all these autoimmune disease. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that was her trauma. And then next we have Betty White, which she grew up in like St. Olaf, which you could just think of growing up in an extremely religious community where it's like that movie. I can't remember what the name of the movie is, where they keep all these people, they're like Amish people, and they keep them in this community. And they tell them like there's monsters outside, and it's a legit person that dresses up like this monster that kills people if they go out, and then they end up breaking out of the woods and realize there's a whole world out there and they've been like brainwashed. It's like that. Like Rose grew up like that. And so she's kind of got this ditzy false sense of how things get to be. And she's she holds she bites her tongue a lot. She doesn't speak up a lot. And then she blows up and like says sometimes hurtful things, which a lot of women do because our power's been taken away. We grow up thinking that it's supposed to be this way and you're supposed to do it this way. And we're taught these fucked up stories. And then we get into the real world and we're like, whoa, this person's doing me wrong. This is going on. Da, 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 da. You know what I mean? So that's hers. But she has all these women have very good hearts. They just have all their fucked up stories that's causing them to live the lives that they're living and go through the shit that they're going through. Because me, if I had to be a golden girl and I had to be in a house with other women, first of all, I would probably not create that in my life. Maybe create it where I've got my own mansion and maybe she lives next to me if we're going to go that route. And I don't want a man because I could have a spouse if I wanted one, because I could attract that, because I could be that. I could be a vibrational match for that if I really wanted one. I wouldn't just give up if my husband's something here, it just depends on what you want. It's just this whole movie line. It's just a victim of circumstance. It's the wounded feminine at its core. That's what the Golden Girls is. And then they all come together and realize how much they need each other. And that's like the Golden Girls. And they have each other's back and whatnot. But, just watching the whole story kind of just makes me go, wow, they never dealt with this. They never dealt with this, never dealt with that. I can see it. And it's just a movie line, but I don't know if you've ever seen it like that. So anyway, that's my take on the Golden Girls. Like that's how I see when I watch it and when it plays out, even like Sophia, the reason Dorothy is the way she is Sophia grew up, an immigrant, and all her stories and how she had to survive. And then her dude that she attracted, like they had she was a wounded woman. He was in his wounded masculine. He ends up dying. And she's just got all this scorned, wounded energy towards men that then creates Dorothy's programming that says men aren't good. And then she attracts Stan. It's just all this shit. And it's really just so fucking easy. And you're like, Casey, well, how do we get out of this? Do you want to know how to get out of this? So the way that you get out of this is you understand your birthright, which is literally all those cliche things that you hear of. You can be, have, do anything is true. And you have to look at the feelings that don't feel good. Let's just say money is a struggle for you. That tells you right there's something in you that doesn't feel like deserves it. A lot of people can trace it back to religious abuse where they taught this thing where it's not good to be wealthy or it's not good to be rich or money is bad. You can view it. You can look at that, trace it back to your mom and dad, your ancestors, what they went through. So you have to look first at where are you struggling? It could be with health. It could be with body. It could be with relationships. And so you have to look at where you're struggling first. And then like me right now. So we're looking at this house. We were going to close on the mansion, right? And then now we're looking at this other place and it's just part of growth. But the reason that it's right now and I don't already have what I want is because I had so much programming that everything had to be hard. I was afraid of success because I thought it could be taken from you. I had to go and really look at why I think the way I think, because our thoughts are things, right? Even Dispenza, thank God there's a man, because if women say it, we're crazy. If a man is saying it, thank God he is saying it intellectually, because I simply cannot put things into words like he does. He articulates it so well, like Peterson. But Dispenza, it was even saying, like, if you know stress creates a chemical reaction, throws your hormones off, right? You know that it's scientifically proven that stress does that. And that your brain doesn't know the difference in a lived experience versus a thought, meaning you can think about your problems. You can think about living in fear, something bad going to happen, and like living in that fear. And your body thinks you're living that. It doesn't know the difference. So thought or actuality, it creates this response in your body, stress response. And that is everything. That's like your hormones, literally. So you have to step back and go, okay, where am I struggling? And wherever you're struggling, literally accepting full responsibility and say that I created this, because you did. What happened to us was not our fault. Currently now, being a big girl that we are and a big guy that we are, we have to look at our life and our happenings and literally we create it, because you create everything. You're either in co-creation or you are creating everything. If you don't believe that, then don't listen to my podcast. But realizing that, okay, so I created this, I can also out-create it. And then you just got to find out somebody that teaches you how to track, teaches you how to clear, teaches you how to regulate your nervous system and actually fix the problems at the core. That's what we do. That's what we do at Hot Moms, and inside the program. But that's where you would start. There's a ton of books too you could get started on. I mean, listening to the podcast, listening to the videos, great place to start. But I just encourage you to look at your life. And if you don't like something, like I don't like looking out, seeing that ugly ass fence right there, right in my east. But what I want to see in my east moving forward is a view. Okay. And that's what I'm working on. And I feel that in my body. I spend time with that every day, and I feel what the view would feel like. And it's all happening. It's all unfolding. And I can give gratitude for that. And where gratitude lives, shame cannot exist. You feel me? So your only job every day, and my only job every day, is to really be a conscious creator and create our day, create our moment. And if you feel out of control, well, you are the victim. And if you don't like being the victim, well, all you've got to do is take fucking control and get some fucking help. Get some help. Hyper independence is just a trauma response. So, do this for your kids, do this for your community. It feels really good. I encourage you. I can't tell you how good it feels to connect with others. And we're all the same deep down. We are all human beings. We are all human beings. So anything can be shifted. I believe in miracles. I believe that you're a miracle. I believe that your next breakthrough is a miracle. So yeah, I just wanted to do this. Been wanting to do it for a long time. And today I'm going to wear the shirt and we're going to do the podcast. So hope you liked it. If you feel like you're a golden girl and you want to be a magic girl or guy, or just really feel the way you want to feel so you can have what you want to have and without the drama, dude, I got you. So the best place to go is to caseyshipp.com/apply and fill out an application and book a call. You'll do like a 15-minute chat with us and see what's going on, what's manifesting for you right now. And we are trained experts. Matter of fact, the people that take your call they are trained health coaches. They are trained nurses. And we have doctorates of hypnotherapy, alignment coaches. That's who you're going to be talking to. All right. Among a group of experts. We're trained in this. We know how to, based on what you're saying, we know exactly like where you're stuck, maybe things that you can't see because you're emotionally attached to it. We can help you have these breakthroughs in just a small amount of time. So I encourage you to go fill that application out, book the call, share the podcast and all the other stuff. Let us know what you want us to talk about, because otherwise I'm just going to fucking share what's on my mind. All right. Talk to you soon. See you next time. This is it. I've got a free training, caseyshipp.com/register. Be sure to grab that and then join my free Facebook group and just reach out. Struggle is not required. So hit me up, caseyshipp.com/register. Talk to you soon.